Okay, so the meatballs have baked and they look gorgeous. These are the meatballs. I crowded the pan like crazy because I wasn't gonna prepare another pan, so I ended up making them 5 minutes longer. So what I'm doing now is to put them together. I've got sub rolls that I have split down the middle, and I am going to put shredded mozzarella cheese down into the middle of where I've cut the sub roll open, just a little bit, 1/4 cup or so. I have changed the oven from 350 to 425. And I'm going to be, let me see who that is, somebody. I'm going to be baking these in the 425-degree oven for just a few minutes until the cheese melts.
Yes, this is her husband, Daniel.
So, after the cheese melts, I'm going to be putting the meatballs in and putting some sauce in the meatballs, and I lay a thin slice of mozzarella over the top of it and then broil it a little bit so that I can get it really ooey gooey and cheesy.
Thank you. We'll check back with you.
I will make a note. I told you to put 2 teaspoonfuls of salt into the sauce, and I use coarse salt. And depending on the kind of tomatoes that you use, the kind of wine that you use, it can taste saltier or not as salty. Normally I buy tomatoes that don't have any salt in them. And so I add 1.5 teaspoons of coarse salt to even 2 teaspoonfuls of just regular table salt. But I realized that the tomatoes that I used had salt in them already, which is a long way of telling you that I tasted the sauce and went, oh my gosh, it's too salty. So I will tell you, if that happens to you, don't panic. You can actually add a little bit of sugar, which I know it sounds like anathema to add that to a sauce, but put a little bit of sugar in. I hit it with a little bit more wine. Wine and sugar, always better, and it made it better. But just pay attention to how much salt is in your tomatoes. Okay, we're gonna put these in the oven for just a few minutes. Melt the shredded mozzarella cheese just a little bit. And it actually won't take very long at all. I'll take you over to the, hey Ellen, I'll take you over to the oven. I'm just gonna turn the light on so that I can check on it, which of course you can't see that because of modern technology is not able to look there. Yeah, all right, now that you've looked directly into the sun, sorry, I am going to let that melt in there just a little bit. I also got the 3-bean salad out of the refrigerator. I made it yesterday, and it's been in the refrigerator all day yesterday and today. This is one of those dishes that you can eat it immediately, but if you eat it immediately, you're not going to be as happy with it because it's not going to taste as full, wrong word, but it's not going to taste as good as you want it to. So I tasted it, it's all good raw. And I usually put green beans, wax beans, chickpeas, and kidney beans in my 3-bean salad, but I also add some baby corn if I can find fresh. But the average grocery store around here doesn't usually have fresh. Wegmans does sometimes, so I found it this time and I was very happy. All right, in the amount of time I've been talking to you, that has melted some. So I'm going to take it out of the oven and then we're going to assemble the sub. Eli's here. Eli's his piece. Okay. All right. And it's not extremely melted. It's not like soupy. It's got a little bit of depth to it yet, so that it can kind of cradle the meatballs. Put you back here. Now, I'm going to take some tongs and get the meatballs.
Sanitization.
And I'm going to put the meatballs on the sub. And I usually do, depending on how big the sub roll is or club roll, I usually do at least 4. Some of them will fit 5. These are 4. So I'll do 4. And the recipe actually says for you to put the meatballs in the sauce on the stove while you're melting the cheese and the bread. And I have done it that way. That is really good. But since, remember, I made double the amount of meatballs so that I can have it forever and ever if I want. I want options therefore, so I made sure that I'm keeping the meatballs separate so that I can eat plain meatballs if I would like. Okay, we're going to go over to the oven, and look at that, Eli's offering to help me. If you would like, Eli, you can. He's going to hold the iPad for me because it's really awkward. Okay, so here I have the meatball subs and my sauce, which I hit with an immersion blender. I took out the bay leaf and I hit it with the immersion blender, so it's really pretty soupy. And I am just going to eyeball this and put some sauce. Some people are big sauce people, some people are not big sauce people. I'm just going to cover the meatballs. I don't want the inside of the bread to be too soupy, but I also want to take advantage of all this good sauce that we just made. Okay, now I am going to take slices of mozzarella and lay it over the top of these sandwiches and put them back in the oven until the mozzarella melts. And this is just thin sliced mozzarella, part skim. All right. I'm going to lay it over the top like that. And then I'm going to put it back in the oven and melt that cheese. So these are going to go back in the 425-degree oven. I'm going to melt the cheese, and it will not take long. And while we're waiting on the cheese to melt, Eli, you're being such a good cameraman. I'll show you what I made to go with it. I don't know if you can see that. It's 3-bean salad. Just the family recipe for it. Actually, fun family fact, the liquid that goes on the 3-bean salad is the same liquid that we brush on our grilled chicken recipe and then dip it in it, a warmed up version of that when you're done. That's what we're going to have with the meatball subs because vegetables. Okay, let's look at the meatball subs. And we already established you probably can't see in the oven without looking like you're looking at the face of the sun, but it's actually melting up pretty nicely. And we're going to have some very happy stomachs here. What do you think, E?
I think I'm in a cooking show.
You think we ought to melt them more, or do you think that's good?
I mean, they're subs.
Yeah, I know, right. It's not rocket science. They're subs. Okay, we're going to call this good. You obviously can you can broil it for just a second if you like the crunchy stuff on the top of your cheese, or if you like it to be all kinds of boily cheese. We're going to call this good. We're hungry.
It's also a cat on the floor.
Okay. And finished
Can't see the frame.
finished product. It is what it is. Not all that beautiful, but hopefully super yummy. I'll post the recipes when we get done eating, Any questions, please feel free to ask. Thanks for watching.